You guys are going to love this. A headline saying eating processed meat increases your cancer risk by 18%. Sounds absolutely terrifying, right? But what if I told you the actual risk went from 5 in 100 people to 6 in 100 people? Same study, completely different story. Here's how to never get fooled again. I'm Dr. John D'Ambrosio, chiropractor for 32 years, author of the book Fasting That Works, and I lost 20 pounds of fat while maintaining and building muscle using intermittent fasting. And after reading hundreds of studies over the past 15 to 20 years, I finally figured out the trick that headlines use to manipulate you, and it won't happen once you understand this. So what's the problem? Every single day there's a new headline trying to scare you or sell you something. And here's an example. This supplement burns 50% more fat. This food increases your disease risk by 30%. And they always use these huge dramatic numbers to get your attention. But here's what I learned. They're using something called relative risk instead of absolute risk. And once you understand the difference, believe me, you'll never, ever look at headlines the same way again. This isn't just about health. This trick shows up everywhere. Supplement ads, diet programs, news headlines about food, everything. They do it all the time because it works. So let me explain this to you. I'm going to break it down in the simplest way possible. Absolute risk is the actual chance of something happening, the real numbers. Relative risk is how much bigger or smaller one risk is compared to another. It's really a comparison. So let me give you a really easy example. Let's say 2 out of 100 people lose weight on diet A, but 4 out of 100 people lose weight on diet B. That's 2% versus 4%. Absolute difference, 2 percentage points. But the headline will say diet B doubles your weight loss, or it's 100% more effective because 4% is double 2%. That is relative risk. It sounds massive, but the actual difference is only 2%. Here's another example. The World Health Organization says eating 50 grams of processed meat daily, that's about 2 slices of bacon, increases your colorectal cancer risk by 18%. Every news outlet ran with that number, 18% increased risk. But when you look at the absolute numbers, the lifetime risk goes from about 5% to 6%. That's a 1 percentage point difference. The 18% comes from comparing the two numbers. 6 is 18% higher than 5. Now let's be clear. I'm not saying processed foods are healthy. I absolutely love bacon, but I know that processed meats are not ideal, and I wouldn't recommend you building a diet around them. Okay, so let's get that straight. But the point here is understanding how the numbers are presented. Not whether bacon is good or bad, but what the true facts are. And why does this matter? It matters because marketers and headline writers know that relative risk gets attention. So when you say something is 50% more effective, that sounds way better than it helped 2 more people out of 100. Both statements, technically true. They're just presenting the same data differently. And here's what really bothers me. Supplement companies do this all the time. They'll say, our supplement burns 30% more fat. Okay, 30% more than what? If the control group lost 2 pounds and the supplement group lost 2.6 pounds, that's technically 30% more. But it's only 0.6 pounds actual difference. And that is the trick. So here's how I filter. And I filter everything through this now. When I see a headline with a big, scary, or impressive percentage, I ask myself, what is the absolute risk? What are the absolute numbers? Not the comparison, but the real difference. And guess what? Most of the time, when you find the absolute numbers, the difference is so small, it's almost meaningless. It's laughable. And that changes everything, literally everything, about how you make or how you should make your decisions about your health, because you see the truth behind the fanfare. If you want to learn how I lost 20 pounds using a system that actually works without gimmicks, there's a link in the bio for a free cheat sheet to get started, or a link for the full course if you want my exact protocol. And that is absolute truth, not relative.